Welcome to another playthrough of Dungeoneer, Tomb of the Lich Lord. Now, my first gameplay video, I only used half the cards that came in the set. They were kind of the easier cards, and it's a great way to learn the game. This game, I'm going to be using all the cards. So there are some more complicated ones, and it's just going to make the map bigger, and it may take a little longer. I'm not sure, so I'm curious to see. This is the first time I've ever played with all the cards. But I know on my last video I did a lot of tutorial, a lot of rules explanations, and I'm not going to do so much of that in this one. This is going to be mostly gameplay. So if there's anything you have questions about, you can either watch my Game 1 video or go out on the internet. There are a couple forums that I found for the game. One is, of course, Board Game Geek. They've got many pages of questions and answers. And Atlas Games. If you go to their forums, there's an archived section that includes Dungeoneer. So, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Alright, so the game came with 6 characters, and in Game 1, I played with the Paladin and the Rogue. So, I'm going to use different ones this time. Starting with the Dwarf Avenger. Now, level 1, he's got melee of 1, magic of 0, speed of 2. He starts with 6 hit points. He's able to carry 4 treasure cards in his inventory and up to 1 boon. His special ability is Avenge. So he's going to pay 2 glory to make a free melee attack against an opponent who attacked him this turn. And he gets a +1, limit once per turn. Oh, that's awesome. He's going to get a free attack. Okay, that's good. He won't have to worry about saving a movement point, for those return attacks. Okay, so that is the Dwarf Avenger. The other one, I'm going to be using the Necromancer. Now, he's not very good at melee to begin with. Magic is 1 and speed is 2. His health is 6. He can have up to 2 treasure cards in inventory, up to 3 boon cards. And his special ability is to control undead. So as a response, you may pay... Now, response is when he's being attacked. He'll be able to respond to the attack before he attacks back. Alright, so as a response, you may pay 1 glory equal to the peril value of 1 undead attacking you. That undead attacks another hero or monster of your choice in the same space instead, or ignores you. Now, in all my games, my characters very rarely end up in the same space, so I think this is probably going to, the ignore part will probably come into play more, at least the way I play it. Okay, so those are the 2 characters, the Avenger and Necromancer. And I'm going to use these 6-sided dice to indicate their health. They both start with 6, and they both start at level 1, of course. Now, instead of the standees that come with the set, I'm going to use these miniatures. Now, this one will represent the Dwarf Avenger, and it came from one of the Dungeons & Dragons Adventure System board games. So let's just put that there. And then the Necromancer will be this guy. And this came from Descent 2nd Edition. And just like my first game, blue is going to represent the Avenger, and red is going to represent the Necromancer. Okay, and they both start with 2 movement points each turn. So I'll go ahead and put those on the card. Okay. Now, let's go build the map. Now, here was where I made my first mistake last time. When you start the map, you're only supposed to use passages attached to the entrance. So, just as a reminder, this is the entrance for this set. It's the Tomb Threshold, and characters entering gain 1 peril and 1 glory. Start here. You may not initiate a challenge on a hero here. That's 1 hero attacking another hero. And you may pay 2 glory to discard 1 personal hero quest and draw a new one. all the doors are open, and that is the beginning map card. So now what I've done is I've separated out the passages from the rooms, and we're going to do this like we're supposed to do it. All right, so you deal out, you take 4 cards, and these you attach to the 4 sides of the entrance. So this is a grim corner. Now this has a pit trap in it. So any character entering it is going to have to test their speed, and the threat is they have to get a 6 or better to not get hurt. If they succeed, they won't have to take damage. All right, the next one is a simple hall. Okay, so let's put that here. Third one is a corridor. Same thing as a hall, but vertical instead of horizontal. And the final one is a grim intersection. This has a pit, and you have to successfully get a 7 or better, or you fall in the pit and take a wound. And it worked out good that they all fit first try. I didn't have to rearrange anything. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the last passage cards, and I'm going to mix them, shuffle them up real good with all the room cards. Alright, so we'll shuffle those up. And this is the map deck, and whenever a character either explores or during the build phase, this is what they'll draw from. Alright, so I think that's pretty good. Okay, so we've got the map. Let's go ahead and put our characters on the entrance. Okay, and because they've entered, they are going to each gain 1 peril and 1 glory to begin with. Peril and glory. Alright, so now we have to see what quests they're working on. So the characters will each have 2 personal quests, and then there will be 1 global quest that either of them can do. So let's take a look at the Avengers 2 personal quests. All right, the first one, escort the lost magician. So that he needs to go to the outer sanctum, place a token on this card to represent the magician, and then to complete the quest, he has to discard the token in the library. Now, while he has the magician with him, he's going to get a -1 to melee attacks, or melee combat. Second one is to slay Drakey. And this one's pretty easy. You just go to the inner sanctum. He needs outer and inner sanctums. And have combat with Drakey. And he just has 1 hit point, so he's pretty easy to slay. Alright, so let's put the dwarfs there. Let's see what the Necromancer needs to do. Smooth versus Riddle. Now this is a chance quest. So he needs to find the mirror chamber, and to complete this quest, while in the mirror chamber, declare a number from 1 to 6, then roll 2 dice. If either die rolls the declared number, you succeed. That's pretty cool. You may pay 2 glory to roll 1 additional die, and which is only good for that attempt. And each attempt uses 1 movement. Alright. Second one is an escort quest, the Maiden in Distress. So he needs to go to the inner sanctum and take her to the entrance, which is where they are right now. While he has her, he has -1 movement on his turn. Okay. Let's put those out. And finally, let's see what the global quest is that either of them can do. Free Caedmon's Soul. So they need to go to the crypt, place a token on this card to represent the soul, and to complete the quest, you discard the token while at the tomb threshold, which is the entrance, is where they are now. Alright. Had a lot of those quests in the last game, so maybe as they're completed, maybe we'll start seeing some different quests. Alright, and finally, they each need a hand. So you begin the game with 5 cards each. These are adventure cards. Okay. And with that done, the game is set up and we're ready to begin. So the Avenger will be going first, the blue guy. And let's see, Outer Sanctum, Inner Sanctum, Crypt, none of that is out. Of course, right now it's just passages. So he's just going to start exploring. But before that, let's go to phase 1, which is you get all your movement points back. Okay. And phase 2 is Dungeon Lord. So let's take a look at what he can do here. Let's pull out the peril cards. Now here, okay, this is one question I have, and I haven't found the answer yet. Is the rogue actually in the game yet? Does he have this peril? Because right now I could do this Poison Cloud, but I don't know if... Now, in game 1, I waited to the rogue. It's going to be hard not to call him what I used last time. In the first game, I played... the player 2 did not enter until the start of his turn. So he actually didn't have any peril yet, so I couldn't do these. I think I'm going to do that again until I know. And if you know, please leave a comment, clarify that rule for me. So for this turn, I'm not going to do any Dungeon Lord cards. Phase 3 is to explore. So I draw a map card, and I get the Summoning Chamber. Demons cost 1 less peril to play here. Okay. So let's put the Summoning Chamber here. Oh, let's see. I guess I should show the map. I'm going to put that up here. Okay. So that was phase 3. Phase 4 is the hero phase. And he doesn't have enough glory points yet to buy any cards. So let's go ahead and do an exploration. Because I hope to find a room that I need. But not this time. This is a junction. So on the map, I'm going to put the junction... Let's put the junction actually way out here. No, boy. Let's just put it here. Okay. Now, as I play, I don't like this setup as far as the map, being able to see it. But if I need details on a card, I'll bring it up to the camera. Okay, so he has 1 point left. Let's... I guess he's just going to move. Alright, so he needs to get some glory points going. So if he goes here, he gets 1, 1. That gives 2 glory. You know what? I'm going to go this direction. And he's going to gain 2 peril and 1 glory. Alright, so now let's take a look at his cards and see if he can buy anything with 2 glory. The only thing he has is Create Darkness. As a response, which is during combat, you may pay 1 glory, and all encounter monsters in your space have -1 magic this combat. I'm not going to mess with that just yet. Alright, so with no points left, he's not buying any cards. We move on to the discard and draw phase. Repel, I like that axe. You know what, I'm going to get rid of Greater Bloodlust. Okay, and then I draw back up to 5 cards. Alright, so that was the Avenger's turn. Now let's see what the Rogue... He's not the Rogue, he's the Necromancer. Okay. He needs the Mirror Chamber or the Inner Sanctum or the Crypt. Nothing is out yet that he needs. So let's move on to his Dungeon Lord phase. And he has 2 cards. Now let's see. He has 3 peril that he can spend. So he can't do the Ghoul just yet, but he can do Poison Needles. So this is a trap, and it requires 7, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So it's going to cost 2 peril. Let's move this down to 1. He's playing the Poison Needles on the Avenger. So he needs a 7 or better. So the Avenger is going to be using this blue die. So he rolls it, he gets a 1, and he adds, because it's against speed, he adds his speed, which is a 2. That only gives him a 3. He needed 7, so that's a fail. So the trap inflicts 1 wound, so he's down to 5. The controlling player, which is the Necromancer, gets to give 1 peril to any player. So of course, that's going to go to him. Okay, and then that gets discarded, because it was an instant. And that was the only peril card he's going to play. So we move on to the build phase. He draws a turn, another passage. Alright, let's put this out here next to the junction. Alright, so now we move on to his hero phase. He's going to spend 1 to explore, which will be another card, map card. The Well of Healing. Okay, in this one you pay 1 movement and 1 glory, and your hero recovers 1 wound. Alright, we don't have any quests yet that require this. So I'm going to go ahead and put this out here. Yep. The Well of Healing. Okay, he has 1 point left. He's going to spend it to move. And in this case, he's going to move down into the corridor, which earns him 2 peril and 1 glory. So let's go ahead and give him 2 peril and 1 glory. So now we move on to... Oh no, we're still in the hero phase, but he has 2 glory points to spend. Let's see what he has. Well, he definitely can't do the 7. Or the 3. So the only thing he could do is this Potion of Life, but he hasn't taken any wounds yet. So he's finished. That's the end of his hero phase. Now we go to discard. And you know what? I'm going to get rid of this blessing just because it costs so much. It's going to be a while. So let's get rid of that and draw 2 cards to get back up to 5. And his turn is over. Now let's go back to the Avenger. Now he gains his movement points back. And now we move on to the Dungeon Lord phase. And he has this Poison Cloud. He's got 3 points to spend. It only costs 1. So let's go ahead and do that. So he's going to do this Poison Cloud on the Necromancer. Necromancer needs to get a 6 or better. So we're going to use the red die for the Necromancer. He rolls a 5, and his speed bonus is 2. So he actually got a 7, which means he passed. The trap does not go off, and since he succeeded, he's going to gain 1 glory. Okay, it kind of backfired, but that's alright. And that was the only Dungeon Lord card. Let's leave that up. And now he goes to the build phase, and he draws the library, which is actually... which one? I know the... Okay, so he needs it to escort the magician. Let's see where we want to put the library. We don't want to put it too far. Well, I guess it really doesn't matter. Let's move this global quest out of the way and put the library... No, I'm going to make up my mind here. The reason I changed my mind is because in this grim intersection, there's a pit that you have to test. And that may be fine later on once they start leveling up and their speed improves, but right now, I don't want to risk going to the pit. Okay. So that was his build phase. Now we're in the hero phase. He has 2 points to spend. We're talking about this guy here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to spend 1 point, and he is going to move into the Well of Healing, where he gains 2 peril and 1 glory. Now, if he wanted to, he could spend 1 movement and 1 glory to heal, but I'm not going to do that just yet. In fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and use this other point to explore again. I need to get some of these locations out. The Outer Sanctum, where the undead have +1 to all attacks. Now let's see, the Outer Sanctum. He needs the Outer Sanctum and the library. Look at that. For this magician escort, he needs to go to the Outer Sanctum and take him to the library. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this Outer Sanctum card right here next to the library. So that's going to be an easy escort. But not this turn, because he's out of movement points. He has 3 glory, so let's see what he can buy with that. Actually, any of this. Okay, so let's take a look. Improved aim, so he could get a +1 on his melee. His melee right now is 1, so that's not too bad. Create Darkness. Now this is a permanent, it's a spell that goes in his inventory. As a response, you may pay 1 glory and all monsters. Okay, yeah, not too interested. Repel. This is great. Target attacking and counter monsters discarded. It's an instant. You play that as a response when you're attacked. I like that, but right now he needs stuff on the table. This acts of Weeping Wounds. The opponent must overcome melee threat 5 or take 1 additional wound. You know what? I'm going to do this. So he spends all of his glory and actually plays this into his inventory. So now, during his combats, he can actually do a wound. Well, you'll see. All right, so that is all he has to spend. So we go to the final phase, which is discard. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this Create Darkness. I'm going to draw 3 more cards. There we go. He's ready for his next turn. Okay, let's see what the Necromancer plans on doing. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, he gains his points back, movement points. And now let's see. He has 4 peril points to spend. So let's pull the peril cards up front. So he can now send this ghoul over to the dwarf. What is forgotten? Opponent pays cost of target boon card or it is discarded. Well, the opponent has no boon cards out. So the only thing we can do is to send this ghoul over. Okay, so that's what he's going to do. We're going to spend all 4 peril points and send this ghoul over to the Avenger. Okay, he is up there. The Avenger is. Alright, so the ghoul is going to attack melee, and his melee bonus is 3. So let's roll the monster die, which is 4 plus 3, so he ends up with a 7. So we're doing melee. Let's roll for the Avenger. He gets a 5. Now his melee is +1, so he ends up with a 6. And what did he have? The ghoul had a 7. So the ghoul does 1 wound. Okay. And because it was an encounter monster, he's also going to take 1 peril. Now let's take a look at this. Weeping Wound. The opponent must overcome a melee threat of 5 or take 1 additional wound. So that makes it sound like I have to do a wound first to be able to use this ability. So if that's wrong, just leave a comment down below, but that's how I'm going to play it this time. But remember, his ability is to pay 2 glory to make a free return attack. Now the problem is, he spent all of his glory, so he can't do that. If he had 1 movement point left, he could spend it to make a return attack. But in this case, he can't do anything. So that leaves the ghoul uninjured. So now I can either bring this into my hand or put it in my pack. And notice this actually has 2 hit points. So let's go ahead and put this back into, or put this into the Necromancer's pack. He can use that again in upcoming turns. Okay, so that's going to be the end of the Necromancer's Dungeon Lord phase. Now let's move on to the build. The Inner Sanctum. Vermin are half cost, rounded up, to play here. Okay, so let's see. Who needs the Inner Sanctum? The Avenger does. Oh, he needs it too. And he needs to escort the maiden from the Inner Sanctum back to the entrance. So we need to put this as close to the entrance for him as possible. Now we can't use the top. That is blocked. So, wow. The closest would be probably, so if we put it here, 1, 2, 3. If we put it here, 1, 2, 3. And if we put it here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Put it here, 1, 2, 3. So I guess it really doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and just put it up here. Wow. Okay. So now he knows he needs to get up that Inner Sanctum for this quest. Okay, so that was the build. Now he has 2 points to spend, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to spend 1 to move. He moves into the Tomb Threshold, where he gains 1 peril and 1 glory. And he's going to go ahead and move again, spend that last point to move into the Grim Corner. Now this has the pit in it where he needs to test speed and get a 6 or better. Or he takes a wound. So his speed is 2 at level 1. So let's go ahead and roll for the test here. He gets a 3 plus 2, that's a 5, but he needed a 6. So he is going to take a wound for falling in. No, you know what? Take that back. In a pit, you get tipped. Yep. All right. And what tipped means is it costs 1 movement to untip. So he didn't take a wound or anything. Now, if this is wrong, again, leave a comment to correct me. But so he is tipped. That's the only effect of a tip, is you just have to spend 1 movement to untip. All right, so he has no more points to spend. He has 4 glory. So let's take a look and see. He's taken no wounds. He has 2 healing. Let's get rid of that. So if he wanted to, he could spend 3 to add this backpack to his inventory, where he can carry an additional 3 treasure cards. Now his treasure limit is 2 cards. So you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. He's going to spend the 3, bring out this treasure card. So that's 1. So really, he can put 1 more treasure card down. That would be his maximum, but he can add 3 more. So he actually has 4 spots left. So that's pretty good. All right, and that's the only thing he can spend or buy this time. So now I have to discard. I'm going to go ahead and discard this Forgotten, because I don't know if or when he'll ever get a boon out. So we'll discard that and draw 3 cards to get back up to 5. Okay, and that's the end of Necromancer's turn. So now the Avenger regains his movement points. And let's see what... he has 3 peril to spend, and that is both of these. Plane shifted. He can relocate a target occupied dungeon map card to any legal location. So let's see. So let's look at the map. Occupied, that would be this one, but I cannot move that because that would leave these. You couldn't get to them. I could move that card. Man, I know he's going to the Inner Sanctum, so if I wanted, I could really mess with him and move this card. Actually, maybe over here, where there is another white door. But you know what? I'm not gonna do that. I would rather do this acid bath. Yep. Whoa, threat of 8. That's great. for the not so much for the Necromancer, but for the Avenger. All right. So this acid bath. Let's go ahead and spin the 3. Wait. Yeah. Okay. It's the Avenger's turn. So let's spend these 3 points here. Okay. Sometimes it's hard to remember whose turn it is. Okay. So the Avenger just spent 3 peril points, and that's going to let him do this acid bath trap on the Necromancer, who is tipped. He's in a pit already, so he needs to get an 8 or better using his speed. So let's go ahead and roll. He gets a 3 plus 2, that's 5. Definitely not enough to succeed. So he failed. He's going to inflict 1 wound, which will be 5. And the opponent gets 1 peril. So let's go ahead and add 1 peril to him. All right, that was an instant, so it gets discarded. And that was the only thing I could play in the Dungeon Lord. Now we move to the build phase. And this time the barracks comes out. All encounter monsters have +1 melee in the barracks. So let's see, where do I want to put the barracks? I think the barracks are going to go right here. In fact, I know they are. Okay. So it is the hero phase. Okay, let's see, where's he going? He's trying to get to the Outer Sanctum, which will take 2 movement points. So he's going to spend 1 to move into the library, where he gains 4 peril and 3 glory. 4 peril, he's back up to 3 glory. Okay, he's going to spend his 2nd movement point to move into the Outer Sanctum. Now, I'm watching all these doorways. I'm watching for locked doors or traps. So far, everything's been clear, so no problem there. Okay, so for entering the Outer Sanctum, he gains 3 more peril and 2 glory. So we move up to 8 and 5. Okay. He's out of points, but he is going to go ahead and grab this Magician. So when in the Outer Sanctum, place a token on the card to represent the Magician. And then to complete it, he just needs to get to the library next turn. Now I have to remember he gets a -1 to melee combat while he has that Magician. Okay, let's see. So let's see what he can buy now. He has 5 points. It's going to be these 3 cards here. He doesn't need the repel. That's for... whatchamacallit, for combat. A Gem of Loyalty. Your hero has +1. Now this is an attachment. And if the attached treasure card is the subject of a forced discard, you may discard this card instead. So what I could do is put this gem on his axe, and that would give me a +1 to melee, and that's what this improved aim does also. +1 to melee. So let's see. He has 5. I could technically play both, but I'm going to leave 3. I'm going to leave some points in case he wants to do a return attack next turn. So which of these does he want? I'm going to go ahead and put this... No, I'm going to use this because it has another ability. Same effect, but if the axe would have to get discarded, I could just get rid of this instead and keep my axe. So let's do that. We're going to spend 2 glory, put this attachment on. So now I do have a +1. And if I cause a wound with this, they're still going to have to do that extra test to possibly take another wound. So that's good. All right, so that's all I'm going to spend. He has no points left. So it moves on to discard phase, and I'm going to get rid of, I guess, this plain shifted card. I'm going to draw 3 cards to get me back up to 5. You know how that works. All right. So now we move over to the Necromancer. He gains his points back. Great. Now, where is he? Well, let's take a look at his Dungeon Lord cards. He has 8 points to spend. And remember, he has this 4-point ghoul in his pack. Okay, he does have a plane shifted. He could move a location, but he's not going to mess with that. So we have a Crouching Skeleton, attacks melee, and it has 1 health, or a Crypt Ghost, attacks magic, which +3, inflicts a wound, and the opponent loses a glory. That's pretty cool. All right. What do we want to do? We have 8 to spend, and then we've got the ghoul still. 4. We could do the ghoul, or you know what? I'm going to do both of these. I'm going to bring 2 new monsters out. So we're going to go ahead and spend 5. Okay, put that down there. And I'm going to throw these out and say, okay. Boy, he's having a rough time, isn't he? He's down in a pit. He's tipped. He had, what was it, acid splashed on him last time. Now he's got these 2 monsters attacking. Let's see. Now, normally, I would see if he has a repel card, which he does not. He doesn't have glory points to spend that anyway. So he's just going to have to take the attacks. Okay. So let's do the Crypt Ghost first. He's going to do a magic attack with a +3. So let's roll that. 1. So he gets a 4. So actually, the Necromancer could pull this off. He gets a +1 to magic because he is level 1. So he gets a 5. He actually gets a 6, which beats the 4. So he does 1 wound to the Crypt Ghost. Look at that. Okay, we'll mark it as 1 wound. And because it was an encounter, he gains a glory for doing the wound. Okay. Now, let's see. Oh, wait a minute. I think I'm doing this wrong. I attacked the wrong one. Let's take that wound back. Let's take this glory back. I'm starting to get confused. Okay. This is a Necromancer playing on the Avenger. Okay. So actually, we'll keep the roll. That wouldn't have changed. I just rolled for the wrong character. We're rolling for this guy over here. And we have to note his location, the Outer Sanctum. Undead have +1 to all attacks here. So, not only does he get a 1, +3, because he's doing magic, but he's undead. So he actually gets a +4, so he rolled a 5. Okay, let's keep that in mind. He got a 5. Now, let's see what the Avenger can do. He has a 0 bonus on magic. And nothing over here to help. So he has to roll a 5 or a 6. look at that. He rolled a 6. So he, actually he did do a wound to the crypt ghost. So he gains that. Now look at this axe. Let's see. Weeping wound. Take 1 additional wound. So since the opponent took a wound, I think this comes into play. Let me think here. Opponent must overcome. I think that is only when I do an attack. If I do a melee attack, that's how I'm going to play it. If it's wrong, you can let me know in the comments, but that's how I'm going to play it for this game. So the ghost took 1 damage. Now, if I... Oh, look at this, though. I'm going to try to take him out. Pay 2 to make a free melee attack. So I do have 2 glory points. So I'm going to take 2 of those. He's going to perform a melee attack on this guy. So he gets a 1, and then this gem gives a +1 to melee. So he actually has a +2 going into this. Oh my gosh. So he rolled a 1, so he actually got a 3 on his melee attack. The crypt ghost gets 0 bonus on melee. So let's roll that. He got a 3. So it's a tie. There's no wounds assigned, but because he used this, he used it on a melee attack, opponent must overcome a threat 5 or take 1 additional wound. I think whether you wound him or not, I think he does this test. So he had a 0 bonus on melee. Oh, no. Yeah, on melee. So he's going to roll this. He gets a 2. He needed a 5 or better, so he actually takes another wound. And I just thought of something. So anyway, let's go ahead and play this out. He took another wound, so I gained another glory, and that actually took out the crypt ghost. Now I noticed I did make a mistake. He has the magician, so he actually has a -1 to melee. I think that would have made a difference, but I can't remember now. So I'm going to let it slide this time. So there's strike 1 against the Avenger. Okay. See, it gets a little complicated, but if you just play it out, it works. But you have to remember a lot of things. So let's see. So there's still a crouching skeleton attacking. Now he is undead, and he is in this outer sanctum. So the undead gets a +1 to his attack. He's using melee, which is a 3. So it's actually a 4 added to a 3. So he got a 7 for his melee attack. Now his response, his return attack, he gets a +1, +2. So he gets to add 2. But then again, he -1 because of the magician. So he's only going to add 1 to this. 2. So yeah. He takes a wound. Okay. And he's going to gain a peril because he was wounded. And the skeleton is done. Pay 2, limit once per turn. Okay, he's already used it. So the skeleton is going to move into the pack over here. Okay, and that ends the Dungeon Lord phase. Phase 3 for the Necromancer is the Crypt. The undead cost 1 less peril to play here. So who needed the Crypt? That was, for the global quest. That's up here. So let's put it somewhere close. He was headed to the inner sanctum up here. So we're going to put the Crypt up here. but he needs to take it back here. So, yep, let's just put the crypt up in that corner, and we'll have to work with that. Okay, so now it is the Necromancer's hero phase. He has to spend one to become untipped. Okay, and he's going to spend his other one to do his movement. And he moves into the junction where he gains 2 peril, okay, and 1 glory. There we go. All right, and now let's see. He has 2 glory to spend. He has a potion or minor healing. Since he can have 3 boons out, or actually he can have a lot of treasure. Well, it doesn't matter. These are both instants. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Oh no, he's doing all right. Let's not waste it on that. So now we move to discard. Let's get rid of that one. And we're going to draw 3 cards to get back up to 5 for his hand. Now if you notice what I'm going to try to start doing, I've been trying it, but whoever's turn it is, I'm going to leave their hand face up. So let's move on over. It is now the Avenger's turn. So he regains his movement points. Let's try not to make any mistakes this time. Dungeon Lord phase. So he has 3 peril points to spend. He cannot do the Poltergeist or the Lich Lord. Wow. And he has nothing in his pack to play. So he can do nothing. Ugh, that's not too good. Oh, see? Leave that face up. All right. Let's move on to the build phase. The Mirror Chamber. Seems like, okay, the Necromancer needs the Mirror Chamber. Necromancer is way up there. So I'm going to play the Mirror Chamber. Let's just put it way over here. How about that? I can do that. Okay, so now it's the hero phase. He has the Magician, and he's trying to get here to the library. So let's spend 1 movement point to move into the library, where he gains 4 peril and 3 glory. 4 peril and 3 glory. Okay, now let's take a look at what this card says. To complete the quest, discard the token while in the library. And I just did that. We're going to officially discard that. So this quest is complete. What does he gain? His reward is to gain 1 level. So let's move this over to level 2, where he actually now has 3 movement points each turn. Okay, he gains 1 glory. Let's move this up to 7. And finally, he heals 1 wound, which is exactly what he needed. Where's the 4? This is why I don't like doing that. Okay. Anyway, let's turn that over. He has completed 1 quest. I keep making this mistake. Whenever I know I'm going to complete a quest, I should look at my cards first, because completing a quest ends your hero phase. And he's got all these points, glory points, and he could have spent them on some of these. But anyway, the end of the phase, so now I have to discard. Okay, Death Kitty, Improved Aim, Repel, ooh, the Lich Lord, that's the big one. You know what, I'm going to get rid of that just because it costs so much peril. And I like all these other cards. So, we'll get rid of the Lich Lord and draw 1 more card. And that's the end of the Avenger's turn. Now let's go over to the Necromancer. We'll give him his points. He is headed to the Inner Sanctum to grab the Maiden. Okay, but before we get there, he has 8 peril points. Wow, look at all this. Fumble, all trap cards. I'm not going to be using any traps, okay. Dimensional Shift, relocate target unoccupied dungeon map card. So let's see, he's, nope, that doesn't help. He's there, he's going to be going up to the Inner Sanctum, and then heading back to the tomb threshold. He's going to need this mirror chamber. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to use dimensional shift. Okay. So we're going to spend 2 of these peril points. Okay, it's his turn, so we're going to spend his peril. Okay. And move 1 unoccupied dungeon map card to any legal location. So let's move that out of the way. We're going to move this mirror chamber over here. That's going to be closer for him to get to do this. Okay. All right, so what else do we have? We're not going to do the... Oh, wait, dimensional shift. Did I do the right card? No. Wait, yeah. So that's an instant, so now I discard this. Okay. Now we have... let's see, 6 peril left. And we've got 6 peril in cards out here already. Or we have Legion. Let's see what he does. When Legion attacks, all heroes must overcome or take a wound, and then he attacks. So probably we'll do 2 damage. So here's what I'm going to do. Since he has 6, we're going to say we're going to spend all 6. We're going to send Legion out, and we're going to pull the undead, the crouching skeleton out. Okay. So that's what's coming towards the paladin. And since he's in the library, all encounter monsters have +1 magic here. These are encounter monsters, so we've got to remember that. Here we go. There's a lot to remember again. Okay. So before we do this, let's see. He has a repel. Repel attacking monster is discarded. It costs 3 glory. So as Legion attacks, when Legion attacks, all heroes in the same space must overcome. So I wonder which happens first, the attack or the response, the dealing out of. So I think this will take place because he is attacking. So as he attacks, that happens. And then this target attacking monster is discarded. But then again, as he attacks, I think this goes into play. I'm going to play it that way. He's attacking. He spends, now if that's wrong, just let me know. 7. So he's going to spend his 3 glory to repel Legion. So they are both discarded. That could have been wrong. I don't know. So now we move on to the crouching skeleton. He's going to attack melee, who gets a +3 bonus. Again, the magic bonus doesn't come into play with him. So 5 + 3, so he got an 8 for his attack. Let's see, so he is going to use his melee, which is now a 3 bonus, because he's level, wait. Yes, a 3 bonus. Let's just roll his die here. So he gets 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because the bonus from the gem. But that is not enough. So he takes 1, whatchamacallit, 1 wound and a peril. Okay. But he has a movement point, so he can spend this to attack back, which he's going to. He will attack with melee. So he's going to get a 3, 4, a +4 bonus. Oh, man. So he only gets a 5, whereas the skeleton gets, 8. So again, he takes 1 wound and 1 peril. And I'm going to play this axe again. Opponent must overcome a threat or take 1 additional wound. So because I attacked melee, I'm going to do this. So he has to test and get a 5 or better. He gets a 3 plus 3, which is 6, so he avoids the wound. So he is going back here. Yeah, I guess that was done correct. We're going to say it was. That's the end of the dungeon lord phase. The build phase. Here's a grim junction. Let's see, where am I going to put this? Let's put this just way up out of the way, because I hope we don't need to go up that high. Okay, so now it is the Necromancer's turn. Again, he's headed to the Inner Sanctum, which is one above him. He's going to spend 1 point to move, and he gains 3 peril and 2 glory. So here's 3 peril, 2 glory. Okay, so now he's in the Inner Sanctum. The Maiden in Distress. In the Inner Sanctum, place 1 token on this card to represent the Maiden, and go to the entrance. Oh man, well I've got it. There's 1 less movement a turn. Oh, that's not good. That's not a good first quest to do. I forgot about that. Alright, so while he only has, while he still has, actually what I'm going to do, I guess take that one away. He doesn't have a movement left. So anyway, what I did was he had 2, he spent 1 movement point. I took this movement point away just as a reminder that he has 1 less. So right now he only has 1 per turn. Alright, but he does have 4 glory to spend. So let's take a look. We can do a healing. He has taken a wound finally. Let's do that. And I'm going to spend, I'll just use the minor healing. I don't know if it mattered which one I used. Okay, so he only has 2 cards, so let's draw 3. And now we're back up to, whoops, let's put this one back. That would have been the other one. Okay, so back up to 5 cards. And now it is the Avenger's turn. He gains all of his movement back. And let's see what he can spend. He has 7 peril. He has nothing on the table, but he's got this poltergeist. So let's see. He is going to go ahead and do this, so let's go ahead and spin the points. So the poltergeist is attacking the Necromancer, which is up here. So let's see if there's anything, all monsters, vermin, or half cost. Okay, so nothing from the location affects this. He's going to use melee attack. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. He only has 1 hit point. So let's roll this for the monster. He gets a 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh. Let's see. And now the Necromancer has a 0 bonus on melee. So there's no way he can win. He only got a 2. So he takes 1 damage, 1 wound, and 1 peril. And that ends that. He doesn't have a point left to return to attack. So this will go into the Avenger's pack. Okay, that's all he can do for his Dungeon Lord phase. So as he builds the map, we're going to see this grim intersection. And I'm just going to add it up here next to the grim junction. Alright, now he has 3 points to spend in his hero phase. The Inner Sanctum, he could do this, which is, that's way up there. The Crypt is, where's the Crypt? Is even farther. Okay, well, let me show. Sorry. So his quests that he's looking at, he's got the Inner Sanctum, which is up here. So he's got to go all the way like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And for the global quest, he needs the Crypt, which is even 1 further. So right now he's just going to start moving. He needs to get up to that Inner Sanctum. So let's spend 1 point to move, and he moves into the Well of Healing, and he's going to spend, or he gains 2 peril, 1, 2, and 1 glory. Okay. Now, you know what? He is pretty low on life. If he wanted to use a movement and a glory, he could heal 1. We're going to do that. He's going to spend 1 movement and 1 glory, and he's going to heal. You can only do that once per turn anyway. So now he's going to spend his final movement to move again up into the turn where he gains 2 peril and 1 glory. Okay. Now he has 5 glory to spend. Do we want to bring anything out? So this would give him a +1 on melee. This would give him a +1 on magic, but at any time you may discard this to prevent a wound. Or the Holier Lantern. Each monster costs 1 additional peril, while each undead costs 2 additional peril to play against you. Ooh, I really like that. And how much does he have? He has 5. So undead, no. I'm going to spin this lantern. I've never used it before, so let's put this out. He can hold up to 4 treasures, so that doesn't change anything. So the main thing is I've just got to remember about that card. That's all he can spend. So now we have to discard, and I will discard this one because I like this ability to prevent a wound, especially since he's been prone to being wounded in this game. All right, so that's the end of his turn. Okay. So he gains his 1 movement point back. Boy, this is going to be a slow escort. Oh, wait. He's not moving yet. We've got to go through the Dungeon Lord. So he has 6 points to spend. And let's see what we have. Fumbler. This is about traps. Greater energy. All monsters gain that much. All right, so I said he has 6. I could bring out both of these. But because of this lantern, good timing, undead costs 2 additional. Wow. So since I've got 6, and these are both undead, I can only bring 1 out, because he would cost 6 and he would cost 4. So let's bring out the deadly one. Yes. Okay, so he is attacking. There are no bonuses because of location, so this ghoul is going to do a melee attack of 3, to get a 3 bonus. So the ghoul rolls and gets a 4. Okay, so the paladin now will roll, and he's going to get a melee bonus of 3. And then this one adds a 4th. So he gets to add 4 to this. So he got a 7. So that easily does 1 wound to the ghoul. So we'll mark that. And he gains a glory for wounding him. That's 2 now. And he can pay 2 glory for a free attack. So he's going to do that. He's going to spend both of his glory points to do an attack back to the ghoul. And it's going to be melee, so he gets a 3, 4. Same thing, basically. He gets a 9 total. And the monster, his melee bonus is 3. He only gets a 5. So he does 1 more wound, which is enough to kill him, because he only had 2 wounds. And he's going to gain this glory back. Alright, that worked out good. He's making use of his special ability. Okay, so back to the Necromancer. That's the end of his Dungeon Lord phase. Let's see what he gets. The Troll Bridge. Pay 3 glory to enter this space, or overcome a threat of 5 using speed. But if you fail, return to the previous space. Alright. So let's put the troll bridge. You know what? Let's put it way over here. I don't know if that's going to come into play in this game or not. All right. So now it is his hero phase. He's going to spend one movement to move into this junction, and he gains 2 peril and 1 glory. So he has 3 glory. Is he going to buy any cards? You know what? Let's see. So this, when played, place 1 token. At any time you may remove it to discard. Remove a token or discard this to prevent a wound. Open any door. At any time you may discard this to reroll. How many does he have? He has 3. Let's go ahead and put the breastplate on. I like that. Okay. And then everything else is going to have to wait, but I'm going to have to discard. I'm in the discard phase now. Let's get rid of that. We'll draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Jeez. Keep getting 4. Alright, so these are the 3. And put that face down. Okay. It is now the Avenger's turn. Let's go ahead and give him his points back. Alright. So let's recap where he is. He is here, and he's trying to get to the inner sanctum. So, now is his Dungeon Lord phase. He has 6 to spend. Now he's got a 4-cost Poltergeist out there. Misplace. Opponent pays cost of target treasure card again, or it's discarded. Ooh, and look at this. They both cost 3. I think I'm going to play this. So that costs 3. Yep. We'll go ahead and play that. It's an instant. And that, we're going to play it on his breastplate, and he cannot pay the cost again. So that got discarded. That's pretty cool. Let's get rid of that. And then the only other thing he can do, since that costs 4, he's going to spend 1 to spin this bat to attack the, whatchamacallit, what's he? Necromancer. Okay, so he does a magic attack. He's going to gain, or get a +2 bonus. Wow, 8 for the bat. Now the Necro is going to get a +1 magic bonus. He only gets a 2. So he's going to take 1 wound and 1 peril. And I'm going to send this bat over to my pack. Okay. Alright, that's the end of his Dungeon Lord phase. Now let's do the build phase. A Grim Fork. Alright, where are we going to put a Grim Fork? Let's go ahead and keep all the Grims together up there. Okay. Now it's the hero phase. And he has 3 points. So he's going to spend 1 point to move into the junction, where he gains 2 peril and 1 glory. He is going to spend another point to move. Now I could attack, but I'm not going to move into the inner sanctum, where he gains 3 peril. So that's going to be 10. We'll put another one on here to mark 11, and he gains 2 glory. Okay, so he has 1 point left, but let's take a look at this quest at the inner sanctum. In the inner sanctum, defeat Drakey. All right, we're going to do this. Now the first attempt at doing a quest is free, but Drakey is attacking him anyway, so that's kind of the free one. So his melee is bonus of 2. So Drakey actually gets a 7. That's pretty good. Now the Avenger gets a bonus of 3 plus 1 here, so he gets to add 4 to this. Oh, wow. He got a 10. So that was an easy one. He took out Drakey, no problem. The only problem is I didn't buy any cards, but that's alright. Because this is going to end his phase. So what does he get? He gets 1 hero level. So there we go. He is now level 3. And he gains 2 glory. So let's go ahead and show 2 glory. And he's going to recover 1 wound. So he's back up to 4. That's great for him. Okay. Flip that over. That is his second quest. He's done both of his personal quests. He can't spend any or purchase any cards, but this is good because it leaves 1 movement point that he could possibly spend for a return attack. But anyway, I've got a discard now in the final. Oh man, this teleport is great to use. Let's go ahead, and I want this out here. So let's go ahead and get rid of Dark Kitty. Although normally that's a good card, I like to have it. We're going to gain these 3 cards. Okay, that's his new hand of 5. All right. So now we move over to the Necromancer. He gains his 1 point back, and he has 11 points to spend. Wow. Oh, wait a minute. How did he end up with 6? Let's just put one of those back. I don't know which one it was, but yeah, these cards stick together. Okay, so the Fumbler, that's for traps, and I don't have a trap. Budge, now this is going to be great. Watch this one. Relocate a target hero 1 or 2 spaces. Now, okay, last game I used this on myself because it just said target hero. But I read that the target hero is the one who spins the peril. So, since I have 11 peril to spend, I could move the Avenger. So he's probably going to be trying to get over to the Crypt, which is right there. So I could really mess him up, but it's only 1 or 2 spaces. So I could send him like over here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do that. He has so much peril. So I'm going to move that down to 9. So that's spent 1. And I'm going to move him 2 spaces. And let's show this as this and that. Okay. Now when you're being moved, you don't have to deal with doors or pits or anything. So, okay, he has 9 left. Now this is undead, and because of his lantern that he has, this would cost 2 additional to bring out. It's a wraith, but look at this. He could lose a level, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to play that. It's going to cost 7, so that moves this down to 2. Okay. All right, so let's take a look. He's going to do magic. Okay, and that is only if he hits. So let's roll this. So the Wraith gets a 5 plus 3, which is 8. Okay, the 8 on magic. And he gets a 0 bonus on magic. That is tough. There's no way he can... He only got a 6. So he does take 1 wound. So he takes 1 wound. He's back down to 3. Okay. Oh, you know what? I forgot to gain... I don't know how long ago that was. Maybe just last turn. But when he became level 4, he actually gained... he can do 4 points now, and he gets a peril. Okay, and opponent must overcome a threat of 4 for magic, but again he has no bonus, so he just needs to roll a 4 or better. and a 1. He loses a level. That is crazy. So he goes down and he loses the extra movement. And since the... oh, you know what? He is definitely going to do this. He's going to spend 1 to do a return attack on this thing. It only has 1 life. And he's going to do a melee attack because he gets 3 plus 4. So let's do that. He gets a 10, and he gets a 0 bonus for melee. So there's no way he only gets a 6. So he does 1 damage to the Wraith, which is enough to kill it. And he gains 1 glory. So, well, he lost a level, but he killed the Wraith for taking the level from him. Okay, so that's the end of his Dungeon Lord phase. So let's go ahead and do the build phase and the corner. The corner can go... We'll just put it right here, because it's attached to this door here. Okay, so now we're in his hero phase. He has 1 point to spend. He's trying to get to the entrance, which is here. So he's going to spend his 1 movement to move into the Grim Corner again, where he gets 3 peril and 2 glory. Okay, so let's put this here. Okay, now he entered where there is a pit, so he's got to test his speed, which is 2, and he needs to get a 6 or better. So he only got a 3, which means he is tipped again, which is not good, because he only has 1 movement point to spend each turn. Okay, so he's out of movement. He has 2 glory to spend. So let's take a look here. He has 4, so I think he's just going to spend 1 glory to bring out this key. That's going to help him get through any locked or trapped doors, but anytime you may discard this to re-roll 1 of his dice. So that's going to come in real handy. Alright, so now he has to discard. He'll get rid of Fumbler. He's going to draw 4 cards. So that's these 4. Okay, so he only has... Nope. Again, I keep drawing 1 extra card. Alright, so that's what he has, and that will be for next turn. Boy, this is taking a while. Okay, so the Avenger gains all of his movement back. Let's see, he has 6 peril to spend, and he has 5 over there. Let's see, a dungeon shift unoccupied. Oh, look at this. This is great. He's trying to get to the crypt anyway for that global quest. So he is going to spend 2 points of the peril. And he's going to move the crypt because it's unoccupied. The crypt is right here. So now, let's see where would be the best place. He's trying to get to the crypt to escort that soul. So do we want to put it down here? So he only has 2 spaces left. That would take him, how long? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to complete. Or if we put it here, it would cost him 1 to get to the crypt, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I think that's the better choice. We're going to move the crypt right there. Okay. So that was the dimensional shift. So we've got 4 points left to use. So I cannot do the winker again. So let's get rid of the hand. But having 4 points, I can bring out the poltergeist. So the poltergeist is going to attack the tipped necromancer, and it's going to attack melee with a 3 bonus. So he gets a 6. His melee bonus is 0. So he rolls this and gets a 6, which is a tie. So nothing happens, but at least he didn't die. And he doesn't have enough to... as a response, you may pay... Oh, you know what? I need to pay attention to this. Because he could have made this undead ignore him. But that's alright. It came out anyway that there was no wounds dealt. Okay. So, I will admit that there are two... okay, I'm in the build phase right now. I will admit there are 2 location cards I did not put out. And each of those were associated with a quest, which I also kept out of the game. So I was just unsure of how to play those cards, and until I know, I'm not going to play with them. So right now I have no more map cards. This is the map that they're dealing with. All right, so there will be no more Phase 3 build phases. So now we are in the Avengers hero phase. He has 3 points. So he's going to spend 1 to move into the crypt, where he gains 3 peril, okay, and 2 glory. Okay, so now, since he's in the crypt, place a token on this card to represent the soul. To complete this, discard it when in the tomb threshold. Now we have to remember, undead have a +1 attack on me, now that I've got this card. So I'm going to put this up here. We'll just put those there, but we're going to put this token on there to show that I've got the soul. Undead cost 1 less to play. Okay, that doesn't matter. Okay, so he has 2 points left. So he's going to spend 1 to move back into this grim intersection. Now there's a spike trap here. The card says spikes, and you've got to test speed and get a 5 or better. Now with spikes, if you fail, you do take a wound. So let's see, his speed is 3 because he's back at level 2. So let's roll this. He just needs to get a 5 or better. He got a 5 plus 2, so that's a 7. So he didn't take any damage. He failed the spike test. Alright, and he's going to spend this last one to move again. And this time, let's see. Yeah, see, this is a dead end here. So he has to move into the Grim Junction, where he gains 3 peril and 2, 10, 11. So now he has 11 glory to spend. Now, while in the Grim Junction, I'll just show you this card. There's a +2 to threat to traps. So if the Necromancer could throw a trap at me, it would make it that much harder for him to succeed. Okay, so let's see what he can buy. He has 11 points, 11 glory points. So he could do this Mighty Strike 2, which would inflict 1 additional wound when doing melee attacks. Transference. Switch the position of your hero with another hero. Or a teleport. Relocate your hero to any space up to 3 spaces from your current location. Ignore doors and walls. You know what? Oh boy. I'm going to do that. Did you see that? The card teleported out of my hand. That's real magic. Alright, I'm going to spend 2. So now instead of 11, he's back down to 9. So I'm going to teleport myself. And I get to go, what is it, up to 3 spaces. So he's going to, I guess I should show the map. So he's going to teleport. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Ignore doors and walls. You know what that means? Is these places that are blocked, like this has a black door there, that doesn't matter. I can go through walls. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and I'm at the tomb threshold. Look at that. All right, and let's take a pause from purchasing cards and look at this quest card that I've got. To complete the quest, discard the token while in the tomb threshold. Guess what? I'm in the tomb threshold. So let's see here. There's the soul. I discard, which becomes the third quest completed. So look at that. The Avenger won. Congratulations, Avenger. Yep. Okay. And that was gameplay number 2, including most of the cards. I said all at the beginning, but like I said, there were a couple cards I wasn't sure of, but this was plenty to play with anyway. So I only have 2 characters I haven't played with, so I think that means you can expect at least one more gameplay video for Tomb of the Lich Lord, so I can say I've played all 6 characters. And maybe by then I'll have figured out those other cards, and we'll have just one big complete game. So thanks for watching. Again, any corrections I appreciate, comments left below, and I will add those as subtitles into the finished video. Thanks for watching.